Golfwinch, welcome to the Substack podcast that we're trying to do.
Hey,
Uh,
thanks.
how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. And is this gonna be like a weekly show now?
That's the
Or
goal. Yeah, so I'll ask people to respond or reply and say if we should keep going or not. I'm not sure, but hopefully it will. I
all
would
right.
like that. Yeah. Um, so I think our watchers of the video can see the background. I'm trying to share my screen here. We can see Bitcoin is trading just below 110. We had, I think, a green day across the board. The Nasdaq 100 closed pretty high up. Um, I'm not sure why. I haven't watched. Wasn't really looking at stocks today. Busy with my regular full-time job. I'm assuming we had some. I know Tesla sold off, um, but we could probably see if we go down here, we can probably see what the Qs did in terms of stocks, right? So we have this looked like okay. So Intuitive, I know they had a great earnings, so they are obviously lifting some of the Qs, and then the big companies. Nvidia had a nice day. That's really been like consolidating, I'm guessing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you always say NVIDIA. I always every time you and Mike you wrote it's in NVIDIA is I think it's Spanish for NVIDIA is Spanish for trust,
So
I
I
think.
so I say the Spanish version. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, but it's
Oh, Tesla closed green today. Okay.
Tesla.
Oh, by the way, today's October 23rd, and it's well after hours. So this would probably be around the time we would do this show. But I think the main topic we want to talk about with Golfwinch today is Bitcoin, and Golfwinch is a what we call Bitcoin maxi. So if you want to give your thoughts on the current market of Bitcoin, kind of like what's going on here. Looks like we're trading now. We're kind of like hovering around the 200 day. Um, what do
One
you
thing I
think?
Oh, go ahead. What was the question?
Question is, I'm very unprepared. What do you think about Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin in general is um, to me is a buy and hold, and think of it as the new baseline. Hold your winnings in Bitcoin. For me, I don't really do much trading anymore. I What little paycheck I do get, I convert automatically through Strike. It just goes right into a Bitcoin. Like it comes in Thursday night through direct deposit and it gets converted to Bitcoin. So I keep all my money, what little I have, in Bitcoin. And if I want to spend it, you know, depending, then I convert it obviously to whatever that vendor takes.
So
Um,
most vendors, let's be honest, they're going to take dollars.
yep.
So how the hell are you converting it on the spot like that? And there must be a very small fee when you convert it at the
It's
cash
very
register, correct?
Yeah, the device I keep, peanuts and not peanuts, but physical cash. I like to have like anywhere from $100 to $300 in physical cash, and then I try to keep like 300 to 700 in my bank account, but I have trouble not converting some of that to Bitcoin when it dips. But
Yeah.
in general, like my all of my stack is in a cold storage. I like to use the cold card Q, and then I have a hot wallet that I keep small amount, like 90, $100. And anytime I want to convert any physical cash, meaning cash in the bank, not actually paper, but uh, if I want to convert Bitcoin into that, all I do is just go into the Strike app and sell some of my stack there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in cold storage, I just send from my cold card queue, or basically my big stack. Then I put it onto my hot wallet, which could be Bull
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin, or I use Blue Wallet. But that you can just send your Bitcoin over to Strike or Cash App, and even Fold does it too, and then you can convert it to cash. It's pretty seamless, and it's very inexpensive to convert it. Strike converts my paycheck to Bitcoin for
Sure.
no fee.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I just do the dollar cost averaging on Strike because there is no fee to dollar cost average. So every week I do a small purchase of Bitcoin, a spot. But yeah,
But
that's the nice part.
well, what I want to say about Bitcoin though is whenever it goes down in price, and I know most people are normies, and I don't mean that pejoratively or disparaging. You know, everyone in my family is a normie, so I'm the weirdo. So I
Sure. Yeah.
take it as I'm the one who's looked at in a disparaging light. But so normies in general, they see the world through the dollar lens, and that's fine. That's how, it is right now. But eventually that will flip, and most people will see the world through a different lens, especially like the children that aren't born yet right now. So in
Hmm.
general, every time Bitcoin goes down, most of my families, their dollars are getting, in my mind, the dollar is rising in value, what little it
Sure.
does, and then it drops eventually. So every time Bitcoin hits a new high, and that's going to be perpetual throughout our lifetime, it's going to it's always going to ebb and flow, but it's like that stock on the 52-week high list that never comes off of it. It's
Hmm.
always going to hit a new 52-week high because the dollar is designed to go down in value. So we're
Sure.
not we're not ever going to stop this rise and fall, and that's why volatility is good for Bitcoin. When it sits in this range, it's boring.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's good for probably MicroStrategy either when there's no
I,
volatility.
I don't know what's wrong with that stock because I actually sell covered calls for my daughter in that one.
Hmm.
Covered call every week, and
Yeah.
it just goes down and down, and I'm like, what the,
Yeah.
do I just
Yeah,
get,
I think it's impacted by no volatility. Um,
it's gonna
but
rip when it finally does though. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what the NAV ratio is today. But it's almost good that it comes down a little bit. You don't want to see, I don't want to, as a as a strategy holder, I don't want to see a very large spread in the NAV.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know what that NAV is today. I think
Were
it
you
used to be.
speaking about the MNAV, they call
Hmm.
it? What, so
It's
I
just what
cannot wrap my brain around that for the
It's not
life.
the enterprise value. It's just the market cap versus how much Bitcoin they have on balance sheet.
And the ratios, one is like,
It's like
well,
anywhere from like 1.5 to 2 sometimes on average. Like probably right around here. Or no, actually it was what year was this? There have been times where it was trading at like a 3 time NAV. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, you don't want to see that spread get a little too out of hand.
mhm.
Um, so I think what everybody was hoping for in the Bitcoin world was a chart that looked like this.
Yeah.
um, this is, I think, what everybody had assumed, not assumed, but definitely hoped for. And, we had so much momentum after Trump won and going into 2025. But that, I think, is what Bitcoin does the best. As what it does is it kind of lulls everybody to sleep. And if you're patient enough and you understand that a buy and hold strategy is the best way to not miss the next move, um, I
Yeah.
think that is what you have to do with a Bitcoin. You can't trade it, is what I'm trying to say. You just
Yeah,
can't trade Bitcoin.
I
And
agree.
people probably do, and they make some money, but like somebody that has a full-time job, they can't sit there and, worry about what macro headline is going to come out that's going to impact their trade. I mean, it's just silly. Um,
You'll be
so
humbled if you trade Bitcoin long enough, you will be humbled. And
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not I like to trade. I'm as big as I like to you know, play stuff, but I'm getting older and I'm not like my former self where I would like to pretty much try my hand at everything.
Yeah.
But back to that gold chart, because that used to be my bellwether for, how I
Bitcoin.
value money, how much
Hmm.
gold a dollar could buy. And gold has like I think a $30 trillion market cap.
Yeah, it was over 30 trillion before the sell-off. So,
So
yeah,
put
if
that
I
into
had
perspective with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is, let's pretend it's going to be the gold of the 21st century. I almost said 20th century. But let's pretend it's going to become the gold of the gold standard era. At 30 trillion, that's 15x what roughly, I'm just doing rough numbers, but that's 15x what Bitcoin is right now. What is that?
hmm
2.1 trillion it says there.
Yep.
So it's going to eat Amazon, Silver, Alphabet, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. It's going to eat their lunch in the next, 5, 10 years.
Yeah, and that's why I own it. But you were saying Bitcoin will humble you, and nothing is for sure. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about that idea, and that's why I only own Bitcoin. I don't own gold or silver. Um, you know, I think Bitcoin is arguably a better form of money than gold. I think gold is also a good form of money, but it's not as good as Bitcoin.
Right.
Like it's almost like Bitcoin kind of Satoshi saw what gold was and was able to somehow engineer a better form of it. It was like using it. I know he said that he wanted this to be a peer-to-peer payment system. I get that. But what he actually did was he created a store of value that was better than gold. And I don't know how you think about the white paper and or his emails. Um, you
Uh,
know,
I got a
it-
I got a book on them. I like looking at it and just, you know, uh trying to get in his head or what he,
yeah.
thought and who he is. Everyone, you always wonder who he is. You
You know
heard
what book this is?
what
What book?
I don't have it next to me. I'll for next show I'll bring it. I got it
Sure.
downstairs on my table. It's oh man, I can't even, it's one of the, I think there's two of them, but it's one of the more famous ones that I can't even think of the author's name now either.
Mm-hmm.
But it just has a sequential um from the start all the way through when he disappeared. And it
Sure.
has like a little insert. I mean, it shows what the email was about and the response and all that.
Does he mention anything about a store of value?
It's he's not really he didn't design it for that. He designed it as a peer-to-peer, electron basically a peer-to-peer cash system. uh, I mean, he designed it for what it's becoming. It's just anything. There's a something called the Griffin's dilemma, I can't think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? That
Yeah, I've heard people talk
so
about this.
basically people, whenever there's good money, they spend the bad money and hoard the good money. Like
Hmm.
think of the silver dollars and the quarters that were silver. So when they brought out the new ones, you're always going to spend the ones that are less valuable, the ones that
Sure.
aren't made with real silver. So basically, everyone's going to spend their fiat before they spend their Bitcoin, and that's just the way it works. So in the beginning, it is going to act as the best store of value, but as people like the soap miner, there's a guy that sells soap, and he's a Bitcoiner. He
Yeah.
won't sell you his soap unless you pay him in Bitcoin.
Sure.
So there will be people eventually that have more demand than supply, and
Hmm.
they will say, "No, I only take Bitcoin," because they don't want to go into the other system. Now, I don't know how far that is out, but it's probably a ways.
Well, I don't think Griffin's dilemma was it. Uh, According to ChatGPT, that is Kenneth Griffin's idea of the U.S. government dependence on keeping interest rates low to sustain its massive debt.
Gresham's law. Try Gresham's law.
How do you spell that?
Gresham. That might have been it. There's so many. The Lindy effect, the
Yeah.
Cantillon, so many of
Yeah,
those.
that's sounds more accurate. Gresham's law is bad money drives out good.
That's Yeah, Gresham's law is the one I was trying to think of.
Hmm. Um, yeah, so uh, you read my last post, I'm guessing.
I read most of it. I don't think I got through the full.
You got the main concept
Yeah,
idea. What
yep.
did you think about that?
Uh, I don't. I
The
gotta.
idea the
You gotta
idea was
refresh.
the idea is just that China has chosen its fighter, which is the analog version of scarcity, and they also have tons of leverage over us. No matter how much we tariff them, they can hold back all of our um, manufacturing by just holding back rare earth supply.
Now I
Um,
now I remember what I was thinking about that. I was thinking that you can never underestimate the American ingenuity, and
yeah, it's perfect. It's
things
kind of
will
what I was
suck.
saying.
Yeah, things will suck when we get through it, but people will figure it out, and they will engineer a way to do it. I mean, I kind of think that that's what's going on in Venezuela. I don't know if it's about drugs. He
Hmm.
probably just wants to take over their rare earth minerals.
Right.
That's pure speculation. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he would if the opportunity. I mean, he kind of wants to create his own luck. Um, so yeah, I'm not putting it past him.
Did you hear
Um,
did you hear him talk about heaven at all?
no,
When he said, I don't think I'm going to heaven, but I sure I'm gonna make it real good for most Americans and all that. It was
he
good.
said that.
Yeah, it was a good I heard about it and then I saw the actual clip when he's smiling and talking, said it. It was good.
That's
Trump's a
crazy.
character. I don't know. I definitely believe he has America's best interest and he's a true American, but sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So sometimes I think he's definitely better than what we had and what we were gonna get, but sometimes I think he gets ahead of himself trying to make everything good for us. He's a little bit he overdoes it sometimes, and I don't know. I mean,
This is like the investing or gambling podcast. I specifically don't talk about politics when I
oh
go on
yeah,
that
that's
show.
Yeah,
If
I'm not
you, I don't know if you've noticed.
that shows George and Mike, they're fantastic. They crack me up. But they're,
Yeah.
what's perfect about George and Mike is how they're the older demographic. I'm kind of in the middle of you and them, but you think about my children. I got a 19-year-old and an 8-year, two boys that are 18 and 19, Irish twins, and then my daughter's 13. So these children are going to grow up in this new AI, Bitcoin, everything changes at the speed of light. And, 5, 10 years from now, there's going to be something else. There was the
Yeah.
internet, there was Bitcoin, there's AI now. I mean, there's so many crazy innovations that change the world around us. And then we'll be older and kind of more like stodgy, like, oh, nothing's going to disrupt Bitcoin. Oh, but
Yeah.
Bitcoin could get blown out of the water by the next thing. You know what I mean? There's
Hmm.
just so many possibilities with how this world moves, and I feel like time is telescoping. But my point is the the older generation, the boomers, which make up a huge amount of people that have a lot of money,
Hmm.
they may not get in mass this Bitcoin thing,
Hmm.
and they may not get like the AI on the level that you and I and my children get it. And hell,
Sure.
even they're going to get it more than me. But this next generation that's moving in, they're gonna be all in. It's gonna make their life easier, and they grow up with it, so they run circles around. Think of how fast my daughter texts compared to me, my wife, and George and Mike. It's like they're using both thumbs and every their brains just work better, and I mean
Yeah.
it's kind of scary when you see the world
Yeah.
change.
Well, George uses AI,
Yeah,
like
he's got
he plays
Carl.
around with it. He's got
I
Carl.
love that. George is ahead of his. He's definitely got an open mind when it comes to stuff. I
Yeah.
I feel like
But
Bitcoin's keeping in on him too.
yeah, hey, people love the investing or gambling podcast. I want to go on there and I want to talk investing. And I still will always go on there when I'm invited. But I just want to talk investing, and they talk about it's almost like it's a Sean Hannity stock market show, and that's when I lose interest. I'm like, all right, let's get back to the Nasdaq or Nvidia or whatever.
The
Um,
boomers, people that are older, they still believe like the government really cares about them in a way. I mean, not in that way, but the younger generation, my children, it's more like there's there's no red, there's no blue, there's the state and you.
yeah.
It's more like the state is there to, you know,
Well, that's the problem is that
fund
politics.
things.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a good investor and even Bitcoiners, I mean, you want to keep politics far away from everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, look
Um,
what Trump did with Bitcoin. He went to that Nashville.
yeah, but I
Bit-
think, but I think Bitcoin will. I mean, I'm actually disagreeing with Michael Saylor here, but I think that I think that Bitcoin would have been trading at this level regardless. Maybe just move the ball a little bit faster. I think the spot ETFs were a bigger deal than Trump getting elected. Unless there's some acquisition plan that we don't know of, which I still think is a possibility. If the U.S. government started buying Bitcoin, I'm not banking on that. I'm just saying, like, if for some reason they start buying it and they found a loophole and it's like behind the scenes
Yeah.
and they're adding they're buying more Bitcoin and they announce it. Um, you know, I think
I
it's
think
possible.
I think Saylor and Trump and all the people that are in the upper echelon, Like people that are anywhere past, let's say, $3 to $5 million. Anyone in that camp, they don't need Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is pressing that is going to make them. If anything, Bitcoin threatens their power, threatens their livelihood, because with so think about it. Anyone that has a lot of money, especially a lot of money, any of the billionaires and 100 millionaires, their whole thing is they need the government to protect their wealth. Now, a person with under $100,000, they can protect their wealth by going and buying a cold card, putting their money into Bitcoin, and keeping that secret, and then pretending to the world they don't have any money, yet they can have, their sovereignty. If they need money to get by, to get themselves a car and to rent a place, they can go back to their cold storage and have that money. But they don't, now you don't need governments to protect your wealth anymore. And that's one of the main things that
Mm-hmm.
anyone that's even over a million is, you need that protection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So people don't think in those terms as far as protection of wealth, but protection of wealth is one of the main things people think about, especially when you get to that level.
Sure.
You're probably getting close, so you need to think about how to protect your wealth, and it's probably through diversification with you,
Mm-hmm.
and I can understand that. My wife, she has the same mentality. She doesn't understand Bitcoin like I do.
Mm-hmm.
So she has stocks and she has her 401k and stuff like that. But when you truly have done enough work on Bitcoin,
Yeah.
start to get like this, why am I wasting my time over here? I
Yeah.
should keep going towards the Bitcoin. And yeah,
Sure.
like you said, nothing's for certain, but the more knowledge you have on the topic or on the subject, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like a stock. When you're in say Chipotle,
Mm-hmm.
you listen to every conference call and you follow any news on Chipotle, you're definitely more informed, and you're going to buy that dip if you think the company's still clicking on all cylinders and
Yeah.
it drops on some bogus news.
Sure. Yeah, which I had. I bought Chipotle.
Yeah, that was a good one for a while. Now it's been a dog, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the one
It's
I still pile in, or not pile in, but I still chip away and buy a few shares here, a few shares
yeah,
in my wife's portfolio.
sure. Yeah, I mean my idea is that you know, I think that Bitcoin is in the same mindset as somebody owning the S&P 500. I mean, the S&P 500 is a market cap weighted passive way to own the best stocks. So you don't
Hmm.
have to do anything and you kind of just buy and hold it. And I think that, the old 80/20, 60/40 portfolio, stocks to bonds, you know, uh, cut out the bonds altogether,
Yeah,
you know? And like, if I were to start again 10 years ago, like I really enjoy buying individual stocks because I like to study them and I
yeah,
like to, like you say, listen to their earnings report, and you definitely get better returns. Like I bought, I'm gonna say it wrong, Nvidia, like 8 years ago, and I held it, and now it's like my largest holding, and I'm up 4,000% on it. I would have
yeah,
never been able to do that with Nasdaq 100 or S&P. But if I were to start over again, I would definitely have way larger weighting in a QQQ, for example, and Bitcoin. And I think like Bitcoin deserves to be in that same category as the S&P, the Nasdaq 100, Bitcoin, no bonds.
yeah.
um, And that's how I see it as like an allocation. I think it's that important. And that's because, I got into Bitcoin late and I started to research it and I started to study it.
You're
And,
so early, you have no
well,
idea.
I mean, I'm late compared to you,
No, I
probably.
was late compared
Yeah,
to everybody's late compared to someone. But when you
true.
look at
It's true.
addresses, you're so early.
Sure. Yeah.
There's there's only
Yeah.
um there's only like a million addresses that
Mm-hmm.
have over one full Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that represents only a million people that are whole coiners.
Yeah. Well, what's
That's
funny is
crazy when you
I think
think about how
2020, I bought this book and it didn't click for me. I think I was bored by it. It's
it's
a
a
pretty
boring book,
it's a pretty boring book.
very pedantic.
Um and then I don't know what it was, but it was definitely Michael Saylor. I mean, he was the one listening to him on a few podcasts.
Breed
Uh,
love. That
and I
was
was
so.
yeah, and I was also curious about it. This was one of the best book recommendations.
Yeah, that's a great book.
You
I got
told me
that.
about this book.
Oh, yeah, that one is a hitter. That's
Yeah,
definitely like,
this is like almost like a Bible.
yeah,
Although I felt like he was a little too bearish in terms of everything. But in terms of everything but Bitcoin. But no, I
gotta,
mean it's a great
gotta
read.
sell books. No.
It's a great read. Yeah, he's really good.
A good old book, actually a good book. I got two good books. Kaye Rosenbaum's Grokking Bitcoin for the technical side of it.
Okay.
It's that's a kind of a boring book, but if you want technical jargon and kind of to wrap your brain around the technical side, that's why I
Hmm.
sent you the $10 so you got like the the way it works on your just in
Yes.
wild. Because they're about to launch Cash App, not Cash App, Block.
Hmm.
XYZ is a ticker. Jack
Hmm.
Dorsey's baby that owns Cash App, Square, and all that
What's he
jazz.
about to launch? Digital
About
cold
to launch
wallet.
4 million consoles, or basically Square apps. Not Square apps, but you know how they have.
Physical. You're talking.
Yeah, like say the Jimmy John's, or the local Five and Dime, 7-Eleven, all these people, they have the mom and pop shops, they'll
I
have
got
like
you. Yes.
Clover or
The
Square.
POS, the
Yeah,
point of
point of
sale
sale. There you go.
swipe.
Point of
Yeah.
sale systems. So they're on November 10th, I think. They're going live with 4 million, all their cash. I keep saying Cash App. All their Square terminals are going to have Bitcoin inside them with the new software update. So all they'll have to do at any of these vendors, they can flip a switch and they will be able to accept Bitcoin as payment, just like Steak and Shake does already.
Surprised they don't already do that.
Yeah,
What took Jack Dorsey so long?
probably the government is probably a
Yeah.
little more.
But the shop doesn't have to receive in Bitcoin. Like if they don't want to, they don't have to.
No, they can convert it instantly.
Oh,
So
okay.
Square can accept your Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and then convert it to fiat for that store owner, or they can
Hmm.
hold the Bitcoin, or they can even, once they're orange pilled, they can convert all their fiat to Bitcoin. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to be a moment in time, like
Hmm.
this holiday season, because that's going to bleed into Thanksgiving. Then you got Christmas. There's going to be 4 million. If you go on BTC maps, there's not that many people accepting Bitcoin. There are people, but it's few and far between. This is going to make it just kind of explode in the wild.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's important to have it on your phone and be able to scan it,
Yeah,
just like we scan our credit cards now.
yeah.
You know.
It it's a QR code, where
Okay.
you can basically, they show, there's a video of it in the wild in DC. There's a coffee shop called Compass. I think it's Compass Coffee. I don't know, but there's a little video
Hmm.
and the guy, bought his coffee with the Lightning Network Bitcoin.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
that's
whole peer to peer, I am not following it. And other than Strike, I just, I'm so much more interested in the store value just because I think that's so much more interesting. And
yep.
because we live in the US, so we don't, it's not like we live in a
We're
country
only
that has,
4.2% of the people on this planet. That's what
that
the U
own Bitcoin. Oh, the
no,
US. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're demographically we're only 4.2% of the people. But you have communities that are using Bitcoin all across our world that are like not being talked about. They don't,
Hmm.
the IMF, the World Bank, all these powers that be, they want nothing more than people to stop this whole Bitcoin madness because it's challenging the status quo. And
Sure.
they don't like that. They're going to push that narrative of store of value and get it through the ETF, get it through MSTR. Don't put it on
Yeah.
your phone and use it as cash to
Currency.
buy your beef from the local rancher or,
Yeah.
So there's going to be it's already a battle and
Hmm.
Dorsey is all about he sees Satoshi's vision of, wanting it to be a peer-to-peer cash system. And that's why I think he's, building that out.
Yeah, but he wasn't like during the Bitcoin Cash wars, like he wasn't for Bitcoin Cash. He was probably
No, he
keep
was
Bitcoin as is.
so that was the block size wars back then. That was before I was really gung ho Bitcoin. Actually, I had traded it in the in those days on Coinbase. I
Yeah.
thought of it as a stock, and I made
Yes.
like I think I made 2 grand. I bought 2 grand worth and I sold 2 grand because it went up to like 17,000 per coin
Hmm.
on its way to 20,000, and that's when I sold at 17. I'm like, it can't go up like this forever. There's no way. I've
Yeah.
seen stocks go up and down, and that was a rocket ship. It went from 3 grand to 17 grand in a hot minute
Sure. Yeah.
and right back down. But that was when the block size wars. So basically, everybody that had Bitcoin, there was a fork, and I actually listened to that audiobook, Block Size Wars. There's a book about it,
Hmm.
and they forked off. It was like a bunch of these big companies, and mostly people that wanted to turn it into like big business and make it so it can be like Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash was the fork, and then
Hmm.
that forked again into BSV and all this. But basically, all you had to do was take your Bitcoin Cash, sell it, and buy
Hmm.
Bitcoin. You got free money.
Yeah.
So all the people you vote with, the
Yeah.
node you run. And so the node runners, they just kept running Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash became a little side chain.
Right. Now you're not running a node, are you?
No, I want to, but I'm in a situation where my wife kind of runs the house.
Um,
She makes all the money, so I
yeah.
can't complain. But
Sure.
when I get my office, I have the computer to run it. I actually bought a Linux based computer to run specifically just to run the node. I just don't have a place to set it up.
Sure. Yeah.
I got a couple
Yeah.
of items. You need
Yeah, I
about a
guess
gig or gig and a half of RAM. I mean
mhm.
RAM, not RAM.
Yeah.
It takes up
Um
a little
so
bit.
I guess to kind of conclude because I think we have 2 more minutes
Yep.
um is if Bitcoin is so we have to just stop only saying it's a store of value. We have to what we want to see adoption. That's kind of like what I've learned from you because there's like a lot of store value versus adoption arguments in terms of
Yeah.
peer to peer. Yeah, and you're saying like, look, don't overlook the whole adoption peer to peer part. This is huge.
Don't put it in a
Yeah.
box first thing, because
Yeah.
Bitcoin can be so many more things than you really think.
Well,
It's a
what like
base.
what?
Well, you
Tell
could
me.
You when you really get into Bitcoin, it like changes your brain even. You're
Maybe I haven't
thinking,
gotten into it that much because I just know of the store of value aspect of it.
yeah,
Like that's amazing to begin with.
yeah, it is. It is. It changes your time preference, and that's in that Bitcoin standard book. That was really hard for me to wrap my brain around the low time preference versus high time preference.
Hmm.
And because I get a little dyslexic when it comes to stuff, so I
Hmm.
kept flip-flopping them. And low
Yeah.
time preference is what you want, being able to, you know, buy the Prius junker and drive that around instead of the Lamborghini, and
Hmm.
stack your Bitcoin and save for that 5 acre parcel of land that you really know you want. But
Sure.
in general, putting off expenditures you know, in a way that makes you not buy it now, and like on a credit card, like most Americans, they buy now. And I don't know, Bitcoin makes you just think differently in terms like that. But in general, the putting it in a box and thinking of it as a store of value instead of it can be both. It is both, actually. It works very well for both.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I remember one of my first blog posts was like, that's the first mistake you make is that you just put it in a box and it has like 10 different characteristics that make it's putting everything together, all those things together make it so unique. And I don't think there'll be anything that can replicate it. I think it's at least my lifetime, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, a lot of people say it was discovered, not because it took all these people that were working on it, because it's open source. Once you let it into the wild, it's not just you working on it. So Satoshi
Sure.
was, yeah, he was the guy who created the Genesis thought, but once he released that white paper, all these other engineers were working diligently on it. So all these minds are all working to make this thing better and better and better. And it became what it was through the
Yeah.
way it happened in time. The Great Recession helped fuel it.
Yeah.
It never
And it
became anything.
organically grew under the radar before it could get
Yep.
hacked or anything like that, or a government could stop it. Yeah.
Pizzas, everything. So
Yeah.
there's just so many things that made it happen. But we'll
Yeah.
talk more. I'm sure Bitcoin will
Yeah.
come up next
It,
conversation somehow, some
it
way.
should be the main topic, I think. It should, because that's what we both pay attention to the most, I think. So, all right, cool. Hey, have a great night, and I will post something shortly on this. I'll
All
put it
right.
up on
Thanks.
Substack. All right,
I'll talk to you
thanks.
soon.
Yep.